Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm starting a little bit early so that I'm not late. I'm starting a tad early so that I'm not late. Just wanted to make sure that I wasn't having any technical difficulties. Please take a moment to like and give the video a thumbs up. Okay. That lets the algorithm know to inform people that class has started. Also, share the live. I'd appreciate it if you share the live. Have your notebook and your pen ready, your drink and your snack ready. My snack is a drink. Okay. And today we're going to talk about things you should expect from your rituals. So, maintenance, developing rituals, maintaining your rituals. Okay. Learning when to lean on your guides for support, when to trust yourself. Okay. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Tochi, aka Papa Dr. Tochi, mom of the men's and the women's. Okay. Thank you for spending this time on Sunday with me. I have a little bit of gossip to share. And maybe you'll find it funny too. I found it funny, but I was like, I'm going to share this gossip with folks. Okay. So remember to give the video a thumbs up, give the class a thumbs up, and to share the live. Okay. Let folks know. And y'all don't be looking at me like, didn't she say she's a spiritual practitioner? How is she going to be gossiping? No, I do gossip, okay, but it's good gossip. I like juicy gossip. And I hope you learn from the gossip. It's not that serious, but you know what I mean? So I'm live on both YouTube and TikTok. Okay, for those of you who are into it. And also, just a quick reminder today is the last day to register for the Spiritual Fast and Cleanse program, our 10-day program that will be starting tomorrow. So, if you're interested in participating in that, send me an email. There is a cost to it, but we will be fasting and cleansing for the next 10 days after starting tomorrow. And it's all going to be online. So you can do it from the convenience of your own space. You don't need to travel. You don't have to pay for a ticket to go nowhere. You will be doing the fast and the cleanse from the comfort of our own home, our office, or business, or wherever we may find ourselves. Okay. We should learn this as a spiritual discipline. Okay. We should learn how to fast and cleanse as a spiritual discipline. And we need to get to the point where we don't need to depend on people to remind us to cleanse and fast ourselves. Okay. We need to be able to do that as a regular part of our spiritual practice. Okay. I've talked so many times about the need for cleansing. And I believe last weekend or the weekend before that, we talked about fasting and what it can do for you. And I have many videos, many, short videos on all my platforms about fasting and the benefits of fasting. So make this a part of your spiritual practice. There are health benefits, spiritual benefits, and other kinds of benefits, psychological benefits, health benefits. Okay, so welcome to everyone who showed up for class on time. All right. If you need to grab your drink and your snack, that is also fine. Okay. Let me see what's happening on TikTok. Okay. All right, so we're going to be starting. So if you are interested in participating in the spiritual fast and cleanse for tomorrow, send me an email. Today is the last day to register. After today, after midnight today, I'll be moving forward with it, and will not be waiting. Okay. Turn TikTok, folks, so you can see me. So I wanted to gossip a little bit before we start class. I don't know where I put my cup. This little cup there. Well, I'm just gonna swig from the bottle. I hope this is still good. If I fall over, y'all call 911, okay? If I start laughing uncontrollably, y'all just laugh with me, okay? I just have some watermelon juice here. So, what is the gossip that I have? Before I came to class today, I went to this event. There's an event going on. Some young lady is selling wigs, okay? And she advertised it as low cost wigs. So, you know me and my thrifty nature. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go over there, see if I can buy me some inexpensive wigs. And she said she has a whole bunch of human hair wigs, different styles. And she has some hair from Vietnam or wherever it is that, women get their hair from nowadays. This one I have on now is synthetic hair. I do have some human hair wigs, okay? But there's nothing wrong with synthetic wigs too, okay? So, anywho, she has straight, curly, braided wigs and stuff. And I was like, okay, let me go there and check it out. So I went there several hours ago, and she had these wigs on the floor, okay, and some on tables. And she was like, yeah, making this big, it's just like a livestock show. And she was making this announcement. Now I'm giving you 30 minutes to pick 5 wigs. 5 wigs for $100. 5 wigs for $100. And she had a section where she had them on the floor. She just put a piece of plastic on the floor, and then have all these wigs. She put them in piles, and you can go there and start picking the wigs you want. So some of the wigs I picked, and I got braided wigs, and they're not bad. Here, I'll show you. Ow, 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 ow. I just did a stretch that I didn't expect to do. Ow, my joint. That's a sign for me that I need to do more exercise. Anywho, so, these were on the pile on the floor. So I got these. They kind of smell newish. Okay, so I thought this was kind of cute. If you look at this, it's kind of cute, and it's like finely done. Like you can see, these are micro braids, and these are hand braided. They buy the human hair and they hand braid them. Okay, and here's another one. See, these are like zillions. I think that's what these are called, zillions. All right, and these are supposed to have been hand braided. Now, there's no saying that she didn't get like these workers in China to braid these things. I don't know. But anyway, so I got about 4 of these because she said 5 for $100. And so her trick was, once you got your 5 and you went up to pay, they will tell you the ones you picked were not part of the 5 for $100 deal. Okay, so it was like a kind of switch and bait situation. Okay, so you pick the 5 that you think that you want for the piles on the floor, And then you go to pay for it. They'll tell you, oh no, this one you got is not part of it. This one is $50. So these ones here ended up being $50 each. So I was like, you know what? I dropped the other ones I had and I just took the two, and and I paid for them, and I was done. I wasn't going to look at anything else. And she has other wigs there, like some for $500, $600, and so on and so forth. But at this point, I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. Okay. So I leave there, and there were some vendors selling outfits. So I went and bought some outfits. Okay. And they're really nice outfits. Okay. I'm going to show you. Let me show you one of them. Is this I show Kim material now, and these ones have these things on pants. See that? I'll bring that close to the camera. Like, you see that? So these are the pants. So I thought there were some really interesting designs. So I picked up some clothes as well. Okay. So, and then other people selling stuff. So I just kind of walked around, and I was like, eh. So anyway, so as I walked around, I went back to the area where these wigs were being sold. Lo and behold, remember I told you she had some on tables, and then she had some on the floor, on a piece of plastic on the floor. And so you had to kind of bend over to pick, the wig, only to be told the real price of the thing and whatnot. So anywho, as I walked back there, I was seeing top socialite women, the socialites. They were over there. They weren't picking from the tables, they were picking from the floor. They were hunting with other people. They were hunting for hair on the floor. I You know what? I was about to snatch off my synthetic wig and say, "Are you for real?" They were picking up wigs from the floor. And I saw one. There's this lady I know, okay, and I won't tell you her name. Okay, she sees herself as a celebrity. And she was picking up this wig from the floor. She was picking up this, what she was hoping was going to be the five for $100. And I was there looking at her going, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? And she picked up something similar to what I just showed you now. And she went to the girl that owns the whole thing, and she was arguing with her because I guess she went to go pay for it, and then the owner did the switch and bait on her, the way she was doing to a whole bunch of others. And then they were there arguing, and so she was arguing over a $50 wig. I just laughed so hard. But you know what I did, because sometimes I like to be petty. Okay. Sometimes I like to be petty. Okay, because I'm the last child. Okay. When you're the last child, sometimes you gotta be petty. Okay. When you're the last child, you gotta be petty. So what I did was I went and positioned myself at a spot where I knew these women could see me, especially this particular person. I wanted her to know, to see that I saw her bending over and picking up cheap wigs from the floor and arguing with the owner about how much she was going to pay for the wig. Okay. And these are people who are always designer. If you're not wearing designer, they'll be like, oh, you don't wear designer. We wear designer. And the funny thing is that these people were showing up in their Mercedes Benzes. They pulled up to that place in their Benzes. Man, I am sweating. This gossip is so hot. You know what? They I'll put on my little fan here. Okay. They showed up with their Mercedes Benzes to do, I think the Nigerians call it bend over and select. Please, if you're from Nigeria, correct me. It's called bend over and select, right? When they throw the merchandise on the floor and you have to bend over and start picking through. You have to bend over and start picking through to get what you really want out of the pile. So if you're from Nigeria, please correct me if I'm not saying it correctly. Bend over and select. I laughed so much, but me being my petty self, I was like, I want you to see that I have seen you. So I positioned myself in such a way that when they look up, they can, okay, Onyechuku said is bend down select. Okay, bend down select. So with their outfits and everything, some of them showed up in designer outfits and stuff. So they were bending over and selecting, and then arguing with the person to pay $50 for a wig. Now, under normal circumstances, see this wig that I just showed you? If you go to a regular store, they're usually $100 or $80. They're not $50. Okay. You can get them for $120. Okay. So I didn't mind paying $50 for two because, they're going to last for a while. All right. But, the fact that these high socialite babes, these are the people, you see them on Instagram, you see them on TikTok, and, they're in front of their TikTok thing doing, when they're doing their videos, and, they have their perfect makeup and the perfect filter on, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're the top babes and stuff. I didn't know y'all bent over to pick up things. I did not know that y'all bought cheap things like the rest of us. And the moral lesson from this to be learned is that don't let anybody pressurize you and make you feel that what you're buying is cheap and you're not buying the real, because when push comes to shove, even the so-called socialites, the so-called people having gold hanging. I mean, I saw so many women there with gold hanging off their ears. When the gold is so heavy, it stretches the hole. When people wear that gold and it stretches the hole, that's how heavy their gold is. The neck gold, everything gold and whatnot. And I got to learn that a whole bunch of that stuff is actually stainless steel cover, gold plated stainless steel. Don't let anyone, folks, pressurize you. You're seeing people on social media saying, oh, yeah, we are the rich aunties. We're the what, not the other. Child, please. These people are going to thrift stores. They're going to secondhand places. They're going over to discount places to buy what they have. And they take pictures and make videos and put it on social media. And the rest of us be feeling some kind of way, feeling intimidated, saying, oh, my God, look what they have. Oh my God. They don't have anything. They don't have more than you do. Okay. I could not believe it, but I had to be petty. And so after I positioned myself in such a way that they will see that I saw them, I was there going, I can't believe. Because I have to be messy. So I was like, I can't believe. So some other women passing by and say, what is it? I say, high class babes are bending over to pick their wigs. They're bending over. They're buying wigs from the floor. And then the owner, to add insult to injury, the lady who was selling this wigs, she was wearing these socks, and I think she had like clogs on, like these these croc type shoes. So she came along, took her foot out of the shoe. It has socks on, and then she was using her foot to turn the wigs over on the floor. And these high society women were still hunting and trying to find. And she was stirring the whole thing with her foot. She was stirring over the wigs on the floor with her foot, and some of them, they'll pick up the wigs. You can see them going, didn't you just say that it's like $5 for $100? Why are you saying this one now is $50? Why are you saying this is $60? And they're arguing with her. Point of the thing is, don't allow anyone to intimidate you and make you feel that what you have, what you're wearing, is not up to standard, it's not on par, or whatever the term is. Do not let other people make you feel less than you actually are. Okay, don't, because it's a joke. There are so many of us out here wearing fake stuff. Fake. There are so many of us wearing dupes. There are so many of us who are wearing used stuff. And if they're nice and want to let you know that they're wearing used stuff, they will tell you, oh, my stuff is vintage. No, biatch, what you're wearing is secondhand. probably third hand. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, I'm done with my pettiness. Let's get to the class. So, welcome to the class. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Tochi, aka Papa Dr. Tochi, mom of the men's and the women's. Okay, and from time to time, we put our spirituality aside and we just be petty. We just be human and petty. Sometimes we just want to be petty. Okay, we just be messy. But we like to have a good time. Okay, our spirituality doesn't have to be painful. Our spirituality doesn't have to be, um, it doesn't have to be grim. You know what I'm saying? So we have fun with our spirituality. Now, today's topic sort of kind of came out of a question that was posed during our advanced member class yesterday. We had an advanced member class yesterday demoing how to use an egregore. Okay, remember, I've been teaching this series on the Jesus egregore, and we took one of those and we demoed how to use it to solve a problem. Like so, the problem that egregore is supposed to be able to solve, or at least help us solve, and we talked about it extensively. And one of the advanced members asked a question, and I answered her yesterday, but I slept over it. And I was saying, you know what? I think people would also benefit from hearing the question and hearing the answer. And you don't have to be an advanced member to know what the question was or what the answer was. Okay. So basically, she was like, okay, so now we have this ritual explained in great detail how to use it to connect with this egregore and to use this egregore, this Jesus egregore, to solve this particular problem. What confidence should I have that it's going to work? What confidence should I have that it's going to work? And I think I've heard variations on this question over the years I've been teaching, especially online. What confidence do I have that the ritual you're asking me to do will work? Or what confidence do I have that the ritual you say you're going to do for me will work? Why should I do it? How do I know it will work? What happens if it doesn't work? And it's a very understandable question. Nobody wants to be wasting their time. Nobody wants to be like, okay, I've gone to all this trouble to prep for this ritual, possibly get materials for this ritual, only to discover that this ritual is not working for me. And let's discuss the answer to that question. Okay. When you or someone else is doing a ritual, whether you're doing a ritual for yourself or you have somebody else doing a ritual for you, you need to understand something. There is no guarantee that that ritual will work. Or let me rephrase it this way, there's no guarantee that that ritual will work out the way that you want it to work out. Okay. And there are a number of reasons for this. The first reason for this is that we live in a universe. We live in a universe, okay, that acts randomly. Okay, so random things happen. And this is the reason why bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people. It's because of the randomness of the universe. Okay. The universe is not out there saying, okay, I'm only going to bless those who are Christians and I'm going to punish those who are Muslims, or I'm going to bless those who are Muslims and punish those who are Ifa practitioners, or I'm going to bless all those who are traditional practitioners and I'm going to make life difficult for anybody who is, no, the universe is not like that. The universe is not like that. The universe is completely impersonal. The universe is impersonal. And by impersonal means that it's not like a human being. It doesn't have human feelings or doesn't think the way humans think. The universe just acts according to the universe, and there's a lot of randomness in the universe. When we practice our spirituality, one of the things we're trying to do is to reduce the randomness of the universe around us so that we can have a certain level of certainty in what we're doing. When we're practicing our spirituality, what we're doing is we want to reduce the randomness of the universe so that we can have more certainty for the outcomes that we're looking for. So, what do I mean by that? Let's say, for instance, I put a plate of food outside. I have a nice cooked meal. I put it on a plate and I put it outside. If I take a nice plate of food and place it outside, and I just leave it outside, I don't do anything else to it. I just place a plate of food outside. Anything can happen to that plate of food. Another person could walk along and come and eat it. Some animals could come along and eat it. The wind could blow the plate over and all the food will fall to the ground. I could have ants, insects coming to eat it. I could have birds coming to eat it. I could even leave that plate of food outside and some birds might come and shat in it. They may not know. Maybe they're on a tree above the plate of food, and they may start shatting into the plate and shat into the food. Okay. The rain might fall and soak the food and wash it away. The flood might come and wash the food and the plate away. So there's so many things, an infinite number of things that could happen to that food on that plate that I just put out in nature like that. So it's a random number of things can happen to that plate of food if I put it outside. Now, compare this with if I took a plate of food and I put it outside, I put it on a solid, you know, surface, and I covered it with a bucket, or I covered it with a food warmer. Or let's say I put the food out and I wrapped it with some clear wrap, saran wrap, that stretchy clear plastic, and I wrapped the plate and I put it outside. That's not just it. We can't say, okay, because I covered it with the saran wrap with the plastic or covered it with a bucket or food warmer, that an animal can't eat it. An animal might be able to smell the food and start ripping at it or kicking at it to get at the food. Okay. But it would be very difficult for flies to get at that food. It'd be difficult for ants and worms to get at that food. And if there was a bird in a tree above that food and they were shatting, that shat would not touch the food. Chances are, if someone was coming along and not paying attention and kicked the plate, chances are the food would not spill out of the plate because I have wrapped that plate with a piece of plastic. My very act of wrapping that plate with a piece of plastic reduced the number of random events that could happen to that food. I have reduced the number of things. I haven't totally eliminated, because someone could probably come and set it on fire. That plastic is not going to protect the food. Okay. But I have reduced the number of things that can happen to that food by just wrapping it or covering it. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to put that food out for somebody, and I said to them, I'm going to leave food for you outside. The person that has a higher chance of meeting an edible plate of food with very little contamination if I wrap it than if I just leave an open plate out there in nature and I tell the person, hey, when you have time, go over there and pick up that plate. So if I told someone, go and I made a plate for you and I put it out there, and I want you to go get that plate that I put out there for you, the person has a higher probability of having a good plate of food that they will meet when they get over there if I actually go ahead and wrap that food. You feel me? Okay. If I don't wrap the food and I just put the food open out there in an open plate, the chances of the person meeting edible, safe, edible food out there is going to be much lower. So we do something akin to that when we're talking about our rituals. What we do when we do our rituals is to reduce the randomness of the universe so that we can increase the probability of getting what we want. There is no system, and I repeat, you can take this anywhere. There is no system that is 100% foolproof. When you are performing a ritual and you have an outcome, there you have a target, there's a reason why you want to conduct this ritual. There are an infinite number of things that can happen to either make that ritual come to pass for you or to wreck that ritual. Okay. If you're doing a ritual, you could be using the wrong things, or you could be using the right things. If you're performing a ritual, you could be the right person to do it or the wrong person to do it. You could be spiritually authorized to do it or spiritually unauthorized to do the ritual. Okay. When you're doing the ritual, you can have somebody come and help you along with that ritual, or you can have somebody come and wreck your ritual. You could be doing a ritual and think you're saying all the right things without knowing that you're saying the wrong things. You might have your spirit guides or whatever spiritual entity you're working with. They could either accept or reject the ritual. They might choose to participate with you in the ritual and help the ritual, or they can choose to go against you and not work with the ritual and to wreck the ritual. There are so many things that can happen that will influence the outcome of a ritual. So I have come to learn over the years that if a ritual doesn't work, okay, I shouldn't take it too personally. Even if I paid someone to do a ritual for me, I have to accept, I have to be in a position to accept that that ritual that person is doing for me might not work. The only thing you can do when you are doing a ritual or a spell, or even when you're saying a prayer, the only thing you can do is play your own part well. Do what you're supposed to do. If they say you need to do XYZ in order to ensure the success of the ritual or the spell or the prayer or whatever it is you're doing, you need to play your part and play your part all the way. Because if you are out there saying, well, I'm going to give it a try, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, you have increased the uncertainty of getting the outcome for your ritual. You feel me? Are y'all still with me? Are we all on the same page? These things are like these things are like handy dandy nifty things. See, I was sweating earlier, and now I'm cooled off. Wow, that's cool. All right, saves me having to jump up to go switch on the fan and things like that. So, if you're still with me and you understand what I'm talking about, can we have your oh yeah in the comment section? Are you understanding what I'm trying to describe here? Okay, thank you, Miss Allen. Thank you for liking the live, beauty. Please take a moment to like and share the class. Thank you, beauty. so that other people will know that class has started. If you're understanding what I'm putting out here, let me have your oh yeah. Okay, thank you, beauty. So thank you for sharing, beauty. Thank you very much. Don't beat yourself up if you perform a ritual and it doesn't work out. If you know and you are satisfied that you have done what you're supposed to do and you did it in good faith. So don't be like, if like for instance, um maybe part of the ritual is you have to, let's say you're doing a forgiveness ritual. Okay. And I do have a forgiveness ritual. Thank you, beauty. Thank you for the gift. All right. Now, let's say, for instance, you're performing a forgiveness ritual. Okay. And you put out all your materials and you are calling on the spirit of the person that you have offended. And you're out there saying, well, I want you to forgive me, but you know darn well that you deserved what I did to you. And you know that you're an asshole. You know that you're a bitch. Can you authentically say that you have done that ritual correctly? You know the answer to that question. The answer is no. You have not done that ritual correctly. And so if it doesn't work, you can't turn around and say, well, Dr. Tochi did this video um, about a forgiveness ritual and I did it and I did and it didn't work and this person hates me more than ever. You need to be authentic with yourself. Good evening, IG. You need to be authentic with yourself and say and take responsibility. The forgiveness ritual does not include you cussing and shaming and name calling the other party. That's not part of a forgiveness ritual. Now, however, if you went ahead to do this forgiveness ritual and the person after that gets angrier at you, you cannot just conclude that the ritual did not work. You might start understanding that there's more to the situation than just forgiveness. There's more to that situation you're trying to treat with a forgiveness ritual. And maybe you might want to start thinking, okay, I've done this forgiveness ritual and the person seems to hate me more than ever. Maybe I need to involve spirit guides in this matter. Maybe this is beyond my ability to handle by myself. It might also be possible that the person's rejection of you is a protection for you. That maybe you're asking forgiveness of the wrong person. And that does happen. Sometimes you're like, no, you know what? I know they wronged me. I know they didn't do well by me. I know they didn't treat me well, but for the sake of peace, let me do this forgiveness ritual so that there'll be peace between us. And your spiritual crew is sitting there and saying, are you a knucklehead? Your spiritual crew will be saying to you, you yourself, are you a knucklehead? This person did you wrong and you're out here trying to do a forgiveness ritual so that you can be in good terms. Do you not recognize that this person does not mean you well? Do you not recognize it? And there are many of us who are like that. Oh, okay, he left me and he has another woman. Let me do a forgiveness ritual and see if he will come back to me. Are you okay? Are you okay? Somebody left you, somebody abandoned you, someone rejected you, and you are doing a forgiveness ritual to see if the person will come back to you. Are you okay? Okay. And the answer to that question is no, you're not okay. So, how do you expect that ritual to work? It's not going to work. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's not going to work. But we have people amongst us, some who were in class today and some who are going to watch the replay of this class later on YouTube, who are going to be, okay, she said we can do a forgiveness ritual. Well, my man, even though he's married to somebody else now, but he my man, I'm going to do the forgiveness ritual and see if he'll come back to me. And you're trying to get someone who has kids with someone else to come back to you for what? And you don't recognize that you have been protected, that that person is not the right person for you. But you're like, I'm going to do the ritual. After I do a forgiveness ritual, the way that Dr. Tochi put it out, after that, I think I'll do a love ritual. And after I do the love ritual, no, I think I'll do it this way. I'm going to do a forgiveness ritual. Then I'm going to do the reconciliation ritual. And I'll do a love ritual. And then after that, I'll do a protection ritual. And I'm going to do a protection ritual to protect us and our relationship and this thing that we have together that this other person came into. Because I know she snatched him. She did some roots in him. And that's why he left me. And they have 5 kids together today. You're delusional. You're delulu. You are delulu. And none of those spells you're doing, none of those rituals you're doing is going to work. So I say this, albeit in a humorous manner, that we have no guarantee, 100% guarantee that any ritual is going to work. Because we live and work in a random universe and there's so many variables. Okay, one mystical cat says that part, they left and did you a huge favor. No reconciliation ritual for trifling relationships. Exactly. But some people don't recognize it's a trifling relationship because, to use the words of Shira 7, they're pygmishas. And I don't want you to think that it's only women who can be pygmishas. There are men who are pygmishas too. I've seen some videos on TikTok recently where the man is trying to propose to the woman and the woman is slapping him every which way. Why on earth are you on your bended knee trying to propose to a woman who doesn't want you? She's only interested in what you can buy for her. She's only interested in the shawarma that you are buying for her. Okay? To use the words of Tina Turner, what's love got to do with it? There is no love there. I couldn't resist it. It was on the TikTok shirt. What was on the TikTok shirt? Okay? You know what I'm saying? Some people don't know that they're an unending source of shawarma for the other party. And so when you show up with a ring saying, "Oh, I want to marry you," they're like, "You know what? I only have you on call because of the shawarma. Because whenever I want to eat a shawarma, I'm gonna call for you. You gonna buy me the shawarma." Or anytime I need dinner, I'm gonna call you. If I need jollof rice, I'm gonna call you. And I know you're gonna come through. Okay? I don't like you enough to marry you, but I like you for the free shawarma and the free jollof rice and the free kebabs and the free rides or the free whatever it is that, I'm getting from you. Oh, you pay for my nails. I'm not trying to marry you. I'm just trying to get my nails did. And then you have this person, not realizing it, not having the spiritual discernment to realize that they're just an agent and they're out here trying to do rituals and spells to keep the other person. It's not going to work. Okay. And there are many times we're doing the wrong rituals. Let me give an example. There are times like when you go to certain spiritual practitioners and they're just like a one pony show, one trick show. And so you go to this particular spiritual practitioner, and the solution to any and all problems you bring their way is, oh, go do a water ritual. You tell them, oh, I need help with my exams. Oh, you need to do a water ritual. I'm having problems in my relationships. Go do a water ritual. I need money to pay my rent. Go do a water ritual. Everything you tell them, go do a water ritual. It is very unlikely that you're going to get the solution to your problems from such a practitioner, because they're a one trick show. You need to do a water ritual, and I'm the only person who can do that ritual for you. And I can do it for you for $999.99. But in reality, that is not the solution to your problem. The other thing I said to this advanced student yesterday was, my approach is this: I like putting everything I got into getting the outcome that I want. This is me. If I'm trying to solve a problem, whether it's my problem or someone else's problem, I don't just use one method. I'm a believer in multiple methods, and I don't particularly care about the method. As long as it's legit, as long as there's harm to none, and as long as it solves a problem. So let's say, for instance, that I'm trying to get some money quick. Okay. All right. And I really need that money. I'm not going to just sit in one spot and do chants and do meditation and hope for the best. No, I'm going to do some money rituals. I'm going to do some prosperity rituals. And depending on how much I'm trying to get and how quick I'm trying to get it, okay, and the amount I'm trying to get, I might even hire a fellow spiritual practitioner to work on it with me. So I'm going at it. And if somebody says to me, oh, there's this Pentecostal preacher who is powerful, I have no problems paying that Pentecostal preacher to also work on that same problem. I'm going to call that person and say, what do you need here to make this thing happen? And I will pay that person. Now, you'll have some people say, well, if you do multiple things at the same time, you won't know exactly what worked. My answer to that is this: I don't care. I don't have time to sit down and say, here's the one and only way to solve a problem, because no two problems are exactly the same. I might need $5,000 this week, and I might need another $5,000 next week. But there's no guarantee that the way I get the $5,000 this week is going to be the same way I'm going to get $5,000 next week. I might get the $5,000 one way this week, but next week I'm going to get that $5,000, another $5,000 through another way. So I can't just be sitting here saying this is the one and only way to get $5,000. I hope you feel me. What we do in practical spirituality is solve problems. If I try method number one, it doesn't work, I'm not going to sit there and lose sleep over it. Oh my God, method one didn't work. My life is over. There's nothing else I can do. Mm-mm. If I try method one didn't work, I'm on to method two. If method two is not working, I'm on to method three. If method three is not working, I'm on to method four. And I will keep on at it until I get my outcome that I want or get something better. And there are sometimes certain rituals will not work because what you deserve to get is better than what you're asking for. What you deserve to get is higher, better than what you're aiming at. Many of us don't even know that. And I shared an example with the students yesterday. I said, I was in a doctoral program that had a 96 unemployment rate outcome for the students. And you heard that right, 96% unemployment. So you get that degree, and there's a 96% chance that you will not get a job with that degree that you got, 96%. But many of us were in that program fighting to stay in that program, trying to prove ourselves, doing everything possible to remain in the program, show ourselves worthy of the program, so on and so forth. And even the instructors in that program, many of them had never worked a real job in their lives. They didn't know about real life. So those of us who were coming in from the world and saying this is how it is, they had no concept of it. So they did not have the skills to train the person to get a job with what they were teaching. What they were teaching was 100% theoretical, not applicable to the real world. They weren't teaching you how to get a job. They weren't teaching you how to talk to people to get a job. They weren't even teaching you how to start up your own business to get work or to make money. They would, all they know is they were teaching you this course and the other course and this course and the other course, but nothing that was applicable to how real life works. But many of us were fighting to stay in that program. And eventually, many of us left one way or the other, only to discover that when we left the program, okay, we had better outcomes than if we had remained in that program. But when we were in it, when we emotionally immersed and then trained in it, we were like, this is the only way. And many of us are going through life that way. We're just like, I'm in this situation. This is what I want. And this is the only way. No, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there are always options. There are always options. But it's our narrow view that makes us think that our way is the only way, our option is the only option. But I'm here to tell you it's not. I hope you're picking up what we're dropping here. So when you're doing your ritual, I don't want you to go into it with a sense of, oh, this might work, this might not work. Give it all you got. If you're doing a ritual, give it all you got. Put your authentic self on the table. Give it all you got. Thank you for the gifts. Love 3. Thank you so much. Give it all you got. Be honest with your spiritual crew. Be honest with the spirit guide that you're working with and say, help me. I may not be doing this correctly. I may not be saying it correctly. I may not have all my ducks in a row, but I am bringing my authentic self to you in this thing because I really need help. And that is why when we are doing rituals, we're doing spells, we're doing prayers, we're doing whatever it is that we're doing according to whatever religious spiritual path that we're on, we say this or something better. Because y'all see bigger, better, farther, deeper than I do. I'm only seeing what I'm seeing. I don't see everything. I don't know everything. So this or something better. Back in the days when I used to date and I would do rituals, because remember, again, we keep things authentic here. I'm not going to tell you anything that I did not experience. We don't come here to pretend. Okay. Back in the day when I used to be a Pygmisha and I was dating and I was a Pygmisha, I remember praying and doing spells and rituals for people who didn't deserve me. I did spells and rituals for men who didn't deserve me. Thank you for the roses. And those spells, those rituals failed. I paid money to have people do rituals for me, and those rituals failed. Because where I was at that time, I was listening to the voices of the world saying, this is the best person for you. Don't mind that the person is showing that they're not interested in you, even though they're saying they don't want to be with you, even though they're out there running in the streets or something like that. Don't worry about that. The important thing is to get this person and they will change. I am so glad. I am so glad that all those rituals I did failed. But at that time, I was not glad that they failed. But now, in hindsight, 30 years later, I'm glad that those rituals, those things, all those things I did, I'm glad they failed. Because now I am where I am, and some of those guys, some of them are alive and some of them are not alive. And I see how their lives have turned out. They would not have supported me to be a spiritual practitioner. And if they did not support me to be a spiritual practitioner, I would have been a very unhappy person. And I probably would not be here teaching this class today, because my focus then was going to be on making sure that the marriage worked. And my focus wouldn't have been on fulfilling my life destiny, because when you fall into things like that, you're just listening to what others are telling you. No, don't do this other thing. This is what you should do. So when you do your ritual, I hope that you go into it with that sense of, I am doing my best and I'm going to do my best and I'm going to put my all in it. I'm not going to be lazy about it. I'm not going to be trifling about it. And if there are things for me to do that I need to do, I will do it. I'm not going to say it is for my spiritual crew to do the things that I can do. Because your spiritual crew, they can open the door for you, but you still have to walk through that door. Your spiritual practitioner can help open doors for you, but you still have to walk through that door. I've had situations where we have initiated, taught, showed, role played, modeled, and the person who was initiated chose not to practice. And sometimes you're looking for magical results. No, I don't want to be bothered to do the practice myself. The fact that I'm initiated should give me the magical results that I need. And there are many people who go into initiation with this mindset. And remember, I've talked about this before. I do have a class on my YouTube called Do You Need to Be Initiated? because not everybody needs to be initiated. But there are some people who go and get initiated because they think it is a magical thing. They approach their spirituality with magical thinking. If I get initiated, if I'm a part of this group or that society, that cult, that whatever it is, then all the problems in my life will be magically solved. And I'm here to tell you that that's not how that works. That's not how that works. Because when you join that group, that house, that cult, that society, that whatever it is that you call it, that lodge, whatever, you're going to find a whole bunch of other people there like you who are looking for solutions, who have problems. And they're hoping that with you being initiated into their group, that you're coming with solutions. And they will turn around and start feeding off of you, because they're hoping that, okay, we have a new member, and maybe this new member is coming with resources that we ourselves don't have. And then they'll start leaning on you. And meanwhile, you showed up there saying, okay, yeah, if I'm a member of this group now, my problems are going to be solved. All I have to say is this is my problem, and the group is going to solve it. Meanwhile, the group be looking back at you and saying, okay, who did you bring with you? What connections, what knowledge did you bring? Because we got problems up in here. So being initiated is not the panacea for all your life problems. And many of us need to understand this. And many of us need to hear this, because there's so many of us who are not hearing this. We need to hear this. The fact that you got initiated does not mean that the problems of your life are solved. An initiation is supposed to give you access. If you have been spiritually called to work with that access, there are some people who go through life comfortably and profitably by having other people do the work for them. They'll pay someone to do the work for them. They just pay. Okay, I need such and such and so on and so. They pay someone and the person does it, and they keep on going. They're not there trying to work with altars and trying to work with spur guides and trying to do this and try, because they were not called to it. But they have the money. And they're like, you know what? I'm not called to spiritual practice, but I can pay someone to do this work for me. And sometimes they may make one or two mistakes. Maybe get some inauthentic people, get some people who don't know what, the difference between the front and the back. But eventually, when they get an authentic spiritual practitioner, they stick with that practitioner, or they get more than one. And anytime they have an issue, they call. They say, hey, I'm having such and such issue. And that practitioner will say, okay, pay me the fee and I'll work this thing out for you. And if I can't work it out for you, I'll get someone who will work it out for you. And that's how they live their lives. And you're looking at such people and you're thinking, oh my God, this person lives a magical life. They don't have problems. Yes, they do. The only thing is that they have someone to handle the problems. It's just like celebrities or politicians or religious leaders. They have handlers. You will never see the Pope, for instance, saying, well, let me sew my own clothes. Let me go do my own laundry. Let me hop into the kitchen right quick and cook my meal. No, they have people on staff who do all those things. And there are people who have spiritual practitioners on staff. I'm on staff for some people. I'm on staff for some people. They're not called to spiritual practice. That's not their function. That's not what they're here to do. So they have me, myself, Dr. Tochi, on their staff. And my job is to solve their problems. So don't feel pressurized that, oh, I've got to do these rituals and if they don't work, I'm fucked. No, you're not. You need to first find out, am I called to spiritual practice or not? Am I meant to be out here doing rituals or not? And if the answer to those questions are no, you can pay someone to do it for you. And you can go about the business of doing whatever it is that you were called here to do. Don't feel bad about that. Don't feel obligated. Oh my God, my sisters, everybody in my family, they're spiritual practitioners. I come from a lineage of spiritual practitioners, and therefore I have to be a spiritual practitioner. No, you do not. You're welcome, Phoenix Easy. No, you do not. Don't put yourself into a bind. Don't get yourself all bound up and discombobulated for no darn reason. That's why people have coaches. That's why they have managers. That's why they have handlers. I remember one of the first times I dealt with a wealthy family. I was very young. I was in Toronto then, or in Ontario actually. And I got to work with a wealthy family, extremely wealthy family, understated, classy, old money, wealthy family. Let me share with you what I observed. And I later got to work with other wealthy families now in a different capacity, not in a spiritual practice capacity, but in different capacities. One of the things I observed about them extremely wealthy um, people is that they have what they call a house manager. Sometimes they will call them a personal assistant. Sometimes they will call them an executive assistant. Sometimes they will call them an executive manager. This person's this person's function is to make sure that the wealthy person and their family experience minimal problems, minimal discomfort. And in case you're there sitting, oh, I wish I had this kind of job, because those jobs pay well, before you say to yourself, I wish I had this kind of job, that job is not easy. Because when that family is sleeping, you are awake solving problems. When they wake up in the morning, their favorite milk must be in the fridge. Their favorite cereal must be in the cupboard. The cook must not make a mistake in cooking the appropriate menu for each member of the family. It is your job as a house manager to make sure that no one else on that staff makes a mistake. Can you imagine shouldering that kind of responsibility? Imagine yourself as a house manager for an extremely wealthy family. You have to make sure that every other person in that house performs their function without errors. Their white shirts must be white. Their clothes have to be presentable. You have to inspect their clothes, and if you see any tears, rips, or stains, you replace the clothes without even these people knowing that their clothes were replaced. You don't run up to them and say, oh, guess what? I saw a hole here and we need to take this down to the alteration. No, that conversation does not happen. Ladies and gentlemen, that conversation does not happen. All that needs to happen is when this person opens up their wardrobe, the clothes are hanging there perfectly. They don't want to know, they don't need to know how those clothes came about. That's your job. you have to make sure that if they're going to Martha's Vineyard for vacation, the house has been cleaned, is spick and span, the chef is waiting, driver's waiting, gardener, everything is, and it doesn't matter how many hours it takes you to do that, even if you have to be sleepless for 3 days. You will be responsible for their calendar, coordinating, answering emails. They cannot meet a broken down car. A few days ago, I had to replace my brakes. Okay. Went to my trusty guy. He says, go get the parts. And the thrifty person that I am, I went by myself to go get the parts. Now I could have sent somebody, but for those of you who've been following me for a while, y'all know that I like to do my own thing. So I was like, no, I'm good. I know what to do. Let me go. I went and got the brake pads. I got the rotors because, I was like, just in case they dismantle the thing and discover that my rotors, you know, cannot be machined or, they're in bad shape. I'll have the rotors ready. I went there, got everything, showed up there, only to be told that everything I got was the wrong size. So I couldn't get my brakes done that day. I had to run back to the store, exchange that, get the right size, try to run back there to get them to do the brakes. They said, okay, but we leaving now. I had to go back the next day after a funeral. I had a funeral to attend. So after the funeral, I couldn't go for the interment. So I had to run off and go get my brakes done. Could I have sent somebody to do it? Yeah. Would I have had to pay someone to do it? Yeah. But these uber wealthy people do not do this. They wake up in the morning and say, okay, today I'm going to be driving out in the Rolls Royce. Make it ready. You cannot come to them and say, oh, wait a minute, we haven't done the brakes on the Royce. You want to take the Ferrari instead? Or maybe you want to take out the Bugatti instead. They don't have those kind of conversations. If they wake up in the morning and say to you, I'll be driving out in the Royce today, get the silver Wraith one ready, it had better be ready if you want to keep that job. And this is the reason why when things happen to these uber wealthy people, it's very easy for the popo, for law enforcement to track down who did it. It's very easy. Very easy. Because their lives are predictable, their ways are, there are certain people in charge of, so it's very easy, okay, the brakes got cut. Who was in charge of the brakes? Where do the cars get serviced? And there's always a one place that they go to service the cars, and usually somebody they've used for the past 75 years. They're not like you and I looking for a deal, oh, I have a coupon. They don't use coupons. It is a house manager who uses coupons. So sometimes you might hear, okay, wealthy people are thrifty. Yeah, but it's actually the house manager who's the thrifty person. Oh, yeah. Van Cleef has a sale on jewelry. It's the house manager's job to know that Van Cleef has a sale going on. The person says, oh, I want to get that necklace. The house manager will go get the necklace, and if there's a coupon or discount or VIP, whatever, it's their job to sort all of that out. Because that's what their money is paying for. So I'm using this as an illustration to for us to understand, because there are many of us who don't understand how life works. We think that because we suffer, that everybody suffers. No, 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 no. The fact that you suffer, you're under the hot sun, you're sweating, and your makeup is running, and you need to pee because your bladder is full, doesn't mean that that's how other people operate their lives. And I got to learn that very young, dealing with the wealthy people, seeing how they do their things. If I show you my closet, you can tell I came from a relatively poor background. Because if you go in my closet, yeah, I'm a logical, rational thinker. So yes, I have my clothes color coded. Okay. But I have a lot of clothes. A lot of these people don't have a lot of clothes. You go into their wardrobes, you might see 20 clothes max, 30 clothes max. And it's not a riot of color. They're not like us. Like, I see how I went out and bought this, and I'm like, ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ah. Their wardrobes never look like this. And once they're done with those clothes, the house manager might go there quietly, remove those clothes. They wear clothes in season. They have spring clothes, summer clothes, fall clothes, winter clothes, winter colors, spring colors. And sometimes they may wear the outfit 2 or 3 times and it disappears. Can't wear it again. And it's all the job of the house manager. And so if they need anything, they may go to the house manager and say, you know what? I really want to start developing my spiritual life. It's the house manager's job to go look for a spiritual teacher or spiritual coach or spiritual practitioner. And then share the results with the wealthy person. So do you think that people like that, and I want you to take a moment and think about this. Do you think people who live and exist at that level are out here building altars, holding chickens in their hands? Do you think they hold chickens in their hands and they're waving chickens around their head? You think they're out here making now they let's say for instance they're Jewish, okay? They might do the Jewish cleansing thing, where they have to do the cleansing with the chicken, but they'll, quickly do it and then hand it back to the rabbi. They're not going to be in their house trying to do that. They're over at the synagogue doing that. Or if they belong to whatever religion or whatever spiritual tradition it is that they belong to, okay, and they're like, okay, hold on to this pigeon and dab that, they'll just take the pigeon, do the dab, and hand it right back. They're not going to be there trying to wrestle the chicken or the pigeon or the goat or they have somebody who's there to do that for them. So again, don't feel ashamed. Don't feel obligated. Don't feel pressurized because you're seeing people online saying, they're tying a turban around their head. Oh yeah, I am the grand poobah of the poohoo. You know, I'm initiated and I have all these powers. And they're posting pictures of people from Africa, or they're posting pictures of people from Cuba. And they're saying, oh, yeah, I was over there and I got initiated. And we were taken to the 17th dimension. And we can, I know different rituals for doing the ha hoo and the hoo hoo ha. And you also need to do these things so that you too can do the hoo ha and the hee hee hoo. And you're sitting there and you're watching this on social media. You're like, oh my God, that's what I need to do so that my boss at work will stop making my life difficult. No, you don't. You can pay someone to take care of that manager at work. You can pay somebody to take care of it for you. And you go about your business and do what you're supposed to do. Are you picking up what I'm dropping here? Is anyone picking up what we're dropping here? before I run off and go have some goat meat pepper soup. Are you picking up what I'm dropping here? You can pay somebody to do your rituals for you. Don't feel pressurized that you have to do it yourself. Now, if you have been called to spiritual practice, you've done your divination and you've been called to spiritual practice, okay, you may have some challenges getting someone to do a ritual for you. Thank you, Miss Ife. Rosary Sanctuary. Doing the hoo-ha and the hoo-hoo. Okay, you're quite welcome. TikTok folks, are you picking out what we're dropping in these streets? You can't love 3. The fact that I said I'm going to have some goat meat pepper soup doesn't mean that you have to try to choke me with goats. Y'all, love 3 gave me 10 goats. If I do not succeed in my weight loss efforts, I need y'all to blame love 3. Because love 3 be like trying to choke down these. She gave me 10 goats on TikTok. I mean, 10 goats. How do you expect me to eat the 10 goats? I need to have a village meeting, do a village party. So, are you picking up what I'm dropping in these streets? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Coco says, freeze it. Too much work. Okay, thank you, Love 3. Love 3 says yes. Are you understanding what we've been talking about here? Okay, thank you, IG. I guess it's the TikTok folks have been listening. I usually recommend that you have simple rituals that you do for yourself that puts you in alignment with your spiritual crew. So you can have little rituals that you do every morning with your spiritual crew. Shouldn't take you more than 10, 15 minutes if you know what you're doing. Thank you, Miss Allen. Okay. And I have several videos that I put out, both member and non-member videos about how you can start your day. So many videos. So we're not going to go over that again. But have a way that you start your day. Have a way that you end your day. And it doesn't hurt to start and end your day with some gratitude, because no day is guaranteed, no night is guaranteed. Have an honest relationship with your spiritual crew. Position yourself as a child to your spiritual crew. Do not go to your spiritual crew and say, I summon you to serve me. Remember, I shared a story about how one of our recent initiates was asked to say an invocation, and the person said, I call upon you now to serve me. I was like, bro, bro, I summon you to serve me. Hey, not the way Musa no go see forget. I summon you to serve me. Hey, spirit guide is standing there looking down on this person and saying, if I give you a knock on your head, you will gain sense. Your brain will go back to factory settings. If I give you, if I nod you, your brain will reset. You'll be factory new. Just your brain will go back to factory settings. You'll be brand new. Tear rubber. You say, I, uh, okay, and then they get offered lemons when they don't deliver, right? Say, I summon you to serve me. Ah, John. I'm sure this person's spiritual crew was looking at this person going, ha. The road is long and the destination is far. Hi. Oh my god. Oh my god. The things you see in the field sometimes is like so effing funny. Hey, if I put you back to factory settings, you'll be like brand new. Say, I summon you to serve me. Hi. Hey. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. It is well. It is well. You see what I mean when you go to buy bargain wig. See already the strands of the wig are falling out. When you go, it's a nice wig, but see already the strands are falling out. Hi, but it's a pretty wig. We will wear it. It doesn't matter. As long as I saw that socialite bending down to select wig. I bent down to join the socialites to buy wig. Because I will wear wig. We will all wear wig. We came to America to wear wig. Hi. Have you ever laughed so much that your ear gets painful and then you know the I have a muscle here that is hurting now because I've been laughing so hard. What that I have a muscle somewhere in the back here. All right. Oh my god. My ear, like it's like my ears are hurting me now from all this laughter. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can take one or two questions before we end today's class. So while I wait for the one or two questions, um, remember again, today is the last day to sign up for the Spiritual Fast and Cleanse program starting tomorrow. And that program will be going on for 10 days. We'll be fasting and cleansing. All right. There's also a VIP level to the program, which will include divination, spiritual consultations with me, and customized protocols. So if you want to do the VIP, that's also available. If you just want to do the regular program, that's also available. So if you need information before midnight my time today, I'm in CST time zone, send me an email. Okay. My email is contact@tochi.us and we'll send you the information. It starts tomorrow, bright and early tomorrow morning, I believe, 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. I need to see what they set it at. Okay. And we have people from different parts of the world participating, so that's why it's been set so early. So today's the last day to register for that. After today, no registration because I just want to move forward with it. Okay. So any questions about today's class? I am going to continue with the Jesus Egregore series. Okay. So I'm still developing the material for that. Hopefully, within the week, I'm going to continue with that series. Thank you. Am I 15 years old? Or that means 15 cakes. Right. We're also having a water initiation, an elder initiation this month. If you're interested in the water initiation, and elder initiation, send me an email, contact@tochi.us. It will be here in the United States in person. I don't do initiations over FaceTime or WhatsApp or whatever it is that people do. Okay. Oh, Level Up Sparks. Okay. Well, thank you very much for I know nothing about this TikTok. All right. Okay. So, if you're interested in getting a water initiation and you're supposed to get a water initiation, make sure you've had that divination that says you've been called to spiritual practice. You can come email me for the details. It will happen 2 weeks from now, about 2 weeks from now, and then I'll let you know the location and everything. Okay. If you want to participate in the elder initiation, that will also happen the same weekend. You can email for the information. Okay. An elder initiation is not being called to spiritual practice. It is something that used to be done for elders to prepare them to lead the community. Okay. And it's a spiritual authorization that you get that spiritually recognizes that you're an elder in the community. All right, so no questions. Everybody understands, everybody's educated. All right, so let's go ahead and end the class. We're thankful to our Creator, our guardian spirits, our ancestors, and our spirit guides for today's forbidden fruit. And we ask that it multiplies in our lives and yields more fruit so that we can share with others. Ashe, Say, Kamago, Takoza, Lasedi, Kwande, Aibobo, Inyanho. It is done, it's complete, it's finished. Ma'at. Amen. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me in class today. I don't take your participation for granted. Okay. Well, I'm thinking we should also have a meet and greet 2 weekends from now. I'm thinking of having a meet and greet in Georgia. So if you are available to meet and greet in Atlanta, Georgia, let me know. And then I can set that up. So if you're interested in doing a meet and greet in Georgia, let me know and I can set that up. Because sometimes, we like to have community where we sit together and just spiritual community, because I know there are a lot of people who practice on their own. They don't have a community. They don't have anyone to discuss their spiritual practices with. Okay. So from time to time I will do a community. I've done most of my communities online, so people can just have a place they can um, you know just be their spiritual selves without judgment. Um, but if you are interested in meeting in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia, let me know. Shoot an email over, and we'll make it happen. Okay. So thank you all for coming. Love you all, and see you soon. And thank you.